Good morning. This meeting of the Blair County Board of Commissioners is called to order. We'll begin with a moment of silent reflection, after which we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is probably the largest crowd we've had at one of these meetings in about a year, so we want to welcome our special guests this morning who are making the crowd larger. Thank you for being here. Nicole, could you do a roll call of anybody joining us?
Yes, we do have two participants by phone. If you could state your name for the record, I would appreciate that.
Becky Robinson.
I think we have Becky Robinson and Helen Schmidt. Thank you both, ladies, for joining us. That is roll, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Under item 5 in the agenda, you'll see the schedule of upcoming meetings for the week ahead. Commissioners did receive drafts of the board meetings, minute meetings from October 10th and 12th. So a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second, those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. They are approved, and we'll open the meeting at this time to any public comment. All right, hearing none. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Burke?
I do not have anything.
Nor do I, so we're going to move forward to, I think, one of the highlights of the meeting today, and certainly one of the highlights of the year for us, and the reason that we have such good attendance. And we have a proclamation this morning for Red Ribbon Week, and I'll read that proclamation, which I will then put in the form of a motion. Whereas alcohol and substance abuse in this nation have reached epidemic stages, and whereas substance abuse is particularly damaging to one of our most valuable resources, our children, and a contributing factor in the 3 leading causes of death for teenagers: accidents, homicides, and suicides. And whereas it is imperative that visible, unified prevention education efforts by community members be launched to eliminate the demand for drugs. And whereas the National Red Ribbon Campaign offers citizens the opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to drug-free lifestyles. And whereas the National Red Ribbon Campaign will be celebrated across America during Red Ribbon Week, October 23rd through 31st, 2023. And whereas business, government, parents, law enforcement, media, medical institutions, religious institutions, schools, senior citizens, service organizations, and youth will demonstrate their commitment to healthy, drug-free lifestyles by wearing and displaying red ribbons during this week-long campaign. And whereas the community of Blair County, Pennsylvania further supports the efforts of the Red Ribbon Campaign, now therefore be it resolved, the Commissioners of the County of Blair of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania do hereby proclaim October 23rd through 31st, 2023 as Red Ribbon Week, and encourage its citizens to participate in drug prevention education activities, not only during Red Ribbon Week, but all year long, making a visible statement that we are strongly committed to a drug-free Blair County. I may put that in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is approved. We do welcome this morning a group of students from the Hollidaysburg Area High School SAD group. Normally we would have their advisor Sarah Garman with us. I think their substitute advisor, Mr. Mike Rollins, is with us, who we're glad to see, as well as Shauna Hoover from Operation Our Town. And I believe, Addie, you have, Addie Davis, who is the president, am I correct, of SAD, has some remarks she'd like to share with us. So we'll welcome her to the podium. Oh, thank you.
Hi, I am Addison Davis.
I wanted to basically just tell you all what we are planning to do in the next 2 weeks. We are teaming up with the junior high because we think starting younger is better to stop it young. It is a concern. We have vaping, we have drugs, we have a lot of things in the high school. We're trying to put that to an end. We're trying to stop all of it. Some of the things that we are doing is we're putting posters up around school. We're having our theme days, which are combined with the junior high. So like the first few days, I know some of them are different from the junior high because they express how the high school is prepared for the future more so than the junior high. We also will have coffee with the cops so that our students are acquainted with the law enforcers and have somebody they can turn to and not try to like hide from and run from. We also will be doing a seatbelt check. We think that that's very important to teach them car safety, driving safety, especially because there are newer drivers. We will also be having a speaker come into our social science classes on Monday. That will build awareness. It will display how you can be drug-free and the importance of being drug-free. We will have multiple presentations at lunch and throughout the week in order to inform students, like, don't do drugs, because that is the prime reason of the week. And then we will also have a petition set up for students to declare themselves drug-free. They can sign that all week long, and then we will leave it hanging in the cafeteria.
You have a busy week planned.
We do.
Well, could we, Commissioner, do you have anything you would like to add? And then we're going to take a photo opportunity if we may.
Yeah.
I would just say, as the liaison to CYF, we see a lot of cases now, unfortunately, where both children and their parents or adults in their lives are using substances, and it's something that we've had to, obtain new services and new programs to try to address. So I'm happy to see you guys making some efforts among your classmates, because I think hearing it peer to peer is sometimes more effective than hearing it from authority figures. And also, I'm glad you're including seatbelt checks and information. I unfortunately did lose a classmate when I was in high school to a car accident when they weren't wearing their seatbelt. So it's incredibly important and such an easy thing to do.
It is. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to see all you students here. It really wasn't that long ago when we were students, and we were looking at these same issues that unfortunately are perennial, it seems, and don't go away. But it's great to see your involvement and your efforts, and I wish you lots of good interactions with your peers and with other folks. This is one of the most important issues we have to deal with, really. And thank you very much for all of your help and your foresight in doing this. And thanks to your advisor, too. He's a good one.
Laura, just come down in front here and photo. Everybody come up Are we okay? Some of us are children Mr. Rollins, we've had my kids in school, remember, many years ago. We're going to go out of order here and flip back to one item on the agenda. We do have a public comment that was an emailed public comment that was received by our office. I'm going to ask Nicole if she would share that with us, please.
Yeah, thank you for going back. I do apologize. I did not read this earlier. This public comment is from Margaret Caldwell. It was received Monday, October 16th. The subject is proposed low barrier shelter. I am very concerned about an article I read in the 9/27/23 issue of the Altoona Mirror. Christina Zernick, Executive Director of Blair Community Action Program, wants to create a low barrier shelter for homeless in Altoona. This shelter would not require the following: background checks, sobriety, medical stability, and ability to manage daily living tasks, mental and emotional stability, willingness to live cooperatively with others, or to comply with rules. A facility of this nature would be totally unsafe for the citizens of our town. The type of people this shelter would attract is frightening. All of the things they would not require would also make it very dangerous for staff and other people in the shelter. Who would be responsible if a staff member or someone in the community was injured by one of the homeless people? I hope this idea is squashed before any more planning is done. I have also contacted Congressman Joyce's office and my state representative. Thank you, Margaret Caldwell.
And would you share Ms. Caldwell's, does she have her address, or do we know where her residence is?
Unfortunately, she does not.
We would normally ask. We assume she is an Altoona resident, but we would be helpful for our policy. All right. Nicole, can you take us through the consent agenda, please?
Certainly. Today's consent agenda is resolution number 492. It's the payment of 3 warrantless as outlined in item A, which does include a payment to McCarl's Preferred Services in the total amount of $4,045. It's ratification of 5 warrantless as outlined in item B. It's budget transfers in C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and J. It's a payment to Francis J. Powell, applications number 12 and 13 on the bridge, County Bridge 87, 88, 89, 92 box culvert project in the total amount of $240,015.12 and $10,134.56 respectively. Juvenile Probation is requesting approval of an affiliation agreement between the County of Blair and Bishop Guilfoyle High School for the purpose of student job shadowing and internship experiences. I will note, although that does appear under juvenile probation, that would be a county-wide affiliation agreement. Anyone could use that in any office. Under M, then, the juvenile probation is requesting 1 Bishop Guilfoyle student to job shadow with internship experience with Marklin Meyer for the period of October 24th, 2023 through November 22nd, 2023, 2 days per week for 4-hour increments on court proceeding days. The job shadowing and internship experience is at no cost to the county. It's employment status changes, termination, resignation, separate date exchange, and date change and withdraw acceptance of an offer. As noted in NOPQR and S, I do have one clarification, one change to item O. It's an employment status change under Diane Kilmer. Instead of receptionist, that should actually be file clerk. It's the same wage, but the position that she's taking is actually a file clerk, not the receptionist position. So with that one amendment, that is your consent agenda today.
Thank you, Nicole. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Commissioner Webster, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 I am an aye with the exception of an abstention to the McCarl's Preferred Services payment.
Okay. Thank you. The consent agenda is approved, but the abstention is noted. We're going to begin now with our staff reports and special business. To item 11 and social services and our community development block grant, community development grant coordinator, Trina Illig, who has a number of items for us today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's that time of year, so this all of our items today refer to our 2023 community development block grant. The first item is the approval and submission of our 2023 Community Development Block Grant application on behalf of the 17 non-entitlements of Blair County. That award is in the amount of $248,366. And just to remind everybody, we did select housing rehab as the county's project for 2023.
Questions? 1 minute.
The second item is requesting approval of the submission of the combined fiscal year 2023 Community Development Block Grant application. This application, as you know, we package it up. We do the 17 non-entitlement application, and then we have 5 entitlement communities that we submit one application under one. That application, like I said, will include the 17 non-entitlements and the 5 entitlement communities in the amount of $830,043. And I just wanted to mention, so everybody, the other 2, so most of them did select housing rehab, but I did want to mention the 2 other projects that are included in that application. And the first one is Hollidaysburg Borough. This is a multi-year funded project to address the flooding over in Gaisport, Gaisport, wrong municipality. This is, as I said, it was a multi-year funded project. It is kind of tied to some other funding that the borough is applying for, but that is water and sewer improvements over in Gaisport. The second project is a water and sewer improvement project in Blair Township. I am pleased this is a 3-year effort. We're able to qualify contract area 2 along Reservoir Road is eligible to receive CDBG funds. So Blair Township will actually allocated that project so in their 2023 to enable them to apply for competitive funds. So I will be back probably in February to submit that application on their behalf.
Yeah, if there are any questions, we'll just ask.
Yep.
We'll go ahead and be informal enough here and just we'll stop between and ask.
That's
So if
okay.
anyone has
Yep,
anything, please
anytime.
feel free to do that.
Good. Our third resolution is requesting approval to adopt the 2023 Community Development Block Grant, the grievance procedure and authorization to redesignate the Blair County Chief Clerk, Nicole Heminger, as the Section 504 officer. The Section 504 officer's responsibilities is to make sure that everybody does have access. There's no discrimination, no barrier access to our programs. The fourth item is we're requesting approval to enter our cooperative agreements. Again, these are tied to the 5 entitlement communities. Act 179 at the state actually requires the CDBG entitlement communities that have less than 10,000 population actually receive their CDBG funds under the umbrella of the county. So this is the cooperative agreement. This is the agreement that actually states the county is responsible for certain items and what items that the entitlement communities are responsible for. The county actually does take their 18% admin and administers fully on behalf of those entitlement communities. The entitlement communities actually designate or click those projects and actually are the project's owners of those projects. And our last item is our 2023 Fair Housing Resolution. The Fair Housing Resolution is a requirement, obviously, as part of the application to affirmatively further fair housing. This year, the entitlements actually had to also, we used to do it prior to 2015, but during monitoring last year, they want the entitlement communities to do as well. So everyone must affirmatively further fair housing. We do annual advertising. We do annual activities to further fair housing throughout the year. And this is our resolution saying that we did that.
And Trina works hard to make sure that we stay in compliance with those regulations and that we are doing the best we can for everyone under these circumstances. And so these are essentially really things we see each year that come. So if there aren't any questions, I'll go ahead, please.
Just the agenda says fiscal year 2022. So
For
the
fair
resolution
housing, it
says
should be
23.
2023.
Okay. Yes, I want to make sure.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
Right
on.
It's right on the
It's
resolution.
right
Yeah.
everywhere else.
So we will
Thank you, Laura.
make the change. Thanks, Laura. Very good. We'll take that
All
to
right.
Thursday's business
Awesome,
agenda.
thanks.
Thank you, Trina. Move on to item B for Department of Emergency Services.
I have not had anyone else join us by phone, and I do not see a member of 911 EMA. If you want to leave that on the agenda for discussion on Thursday, we can have someone attend at Thursday's meeting.
When we certainly can do that. Actually, looking at the submission form, it says November 7th and November 9th. So
We talked about that because those are both election days. We
Yeah,
thought
right.
that they were coming this week, but maybe it was next week. So
okay,
we might
We'll
have
just let
this a
that-
week early, but
all right, that makes sense then.
better early than never.
Very good. We'll move on to, yeah, this is true, better early than late. We'll move on then to item C, and with Fort Roberdeau and Glenn Nelson.
Good morning. I'm here this morning requesting approval of a proposal received from Blue Acres LLC for technical service for the removal of invasive privet vegetation at Fort Roberdeau in the total amount of $3,200.
Glenn, are they hoping to do this? I'm not seeing a term on this. Are they hoping to do this still this year, or is this for next year, or is this a multi-year?
It's a phase.
It's a phase?
They'll do some this fall and winter, and then in the spring they have to come back and respray things.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And this is part of the ongoing trying to remove all these invasive species from the fort
Yes,
grounds.
yes.
It's hard enough for people to do it sometimes in their
Yeah.
properties. I
Yes.
can imagine
Yes.
the challenge that it is. This one.
Thank you.
Thursday's agenda. Thanks. Item G from GIS and Grant Wells, who we don't get to see as often. Good morning, Grant.
I'd like to hide. Good morning. Here to request approval for the signing of the 2024 lift letter between the county and our imagery vendor, Victometry International Corp. This letter will let them continue the contract that we entered with them back in August of 2021. This will be the second of 3 flights on that contract. The flight total is $127,999 or $999 dollars. And this is for the collection of imagery, both orthographic imagery and oblique imagery, as well as online services. And this covers a 2-year period. It's broken in half per year.
This is also something that I'm proposing that we pay out of ARPA. Typically, we would take this out of a Marcellus Shale fund. With the first lift letter and some other things that we've done with Marcellus Shale, there's not a healthy enough balance in there to absorb this cost. It is eligible under the revenue replacement, and Lindsay's going to talk to our consultant tomorrow and see if it falls under any other direct categories to see if it would fit somewhere else. She didn't know that, but she does now because I just said it in a public meeting. But she'll
You're locked in, Lindsay.
talk to Corey about that. He's coming tomorrow to do some calculations for a quarterly report. So we'll talk about that as far as a direct category or out of revenue or replacement. And I know one of the questions that the commissioners asked me while I was walking the halls to make sure that ARPA was okay on this item was, where does ARPA stand? And I've told you all that we will have that in one of the sessions at the budget meeting. So we will have a presentation on where does ARPA stand. One of the pieces we're missing is what Corey will be giving Lindsay tomorrow to be able to give you that information to see where our dollars are going and how much is left. So.
Very good. Questions or discussion?
I thought it would be helpful maybe if Grant or Nicole, or I can do it if necessary, would share with the public what we use the Potomac tree. Why do we need this, I guess, would be.
Sure, I can speak to that. Well, we use it for lots of different things in lots of different departments. Assessment is a primary user. They use it to help them keep the tax rolls fair, also minimize some of the field work that they do. It helps them see what comes and goes. And also, through their online service, we have a library of all the previous flights that they've done for us, which allows them to look back in time, see if maybe somebody's not telling the truth about something, or also if something's removed, helps them take that off as well. Department of Emergency Services uses it daily for the 911 dispatch and also for emergency planning at all their SARA facilities that they have to have off-site response plans for. In the GIS department, we use it on a daily basis. It's kind of our template that we build a lot of data on and validate with. It's helpful to see. We get reports of a new house being built that we have to address. A lot of times they've already have, with current imagery, we can see the house site already built or staged, and a lot of times driveways or roads that are being constructed to support that. And we can digitize that in right off the imagery. We don't have to go out to the field and collect the data. It also helps us communicate to the public. We have the public parcel viewer that a lot of different folks use and reference, and having the current imagery on there validates our data. Seeing is believing. So if we have current data that's accurate, but it's on top of old imagery, people are more likely to believe the imagery than the data. So it helps communicate our data to the public. We also use it for data creation, for different analyses that come in, different requests. So it gets used every day by a numerous number of people.
I think we provide additional services, do we not, to municipalities?
True.
That
Yeah.
is a significant, I think, benefit to them.
Yes, we do try and help all the municipalities, especially the ones that don't have the resources. So we extend that down, and it's a big help to them.
Like anything else?
I just have a question, Grant.
Yeah.
I do use the assessment office's website or web information, and it will show photos of a house, for example, the front, the sides, etc. Most of those pictures are dated from 2016 during the reassessment. Do you get the opportunity to update those, or is that a part of what you're doing? Is that something that the assessment office should be or would be doing?
If you're looking are you looking through Connect Explorer, the software they provide to us?
It's the My Courthouse Online.
I don't. Yeah, that's the CAMA data, so that would be assessment
So that's
office.
through the assessment
Yeah.
office, and so they don't get that information from you. It would be easier if they would. That's yeah.
Yeah, the
Geometry is a flyover,
Right.
but I don't think they would be able to get like a street level house, like,
yeah.
or shed or building.
Yeah.
But you
You
can
see the roof.
They should have it. Yeah.
the-
But it would be
3D
helpful.
piece of it, but I
Yeah.
don't think you could get the kind of pictures that.
Right, but it would be helpful to show like how many buildings, that kind of thing. I don't know. It's just
Yeah, the Connect Explorer, the software that they provide online access to, that you do have the oblique views, and the imagery quality is pretty good, so you can, depending on the area.
What about parcel viewer on the assessment?
No, not the parcel viewer. The service that they provide us that we have limited access to. We don't. It's not a public access software, but
But publicly, if you go to the assessment page of Veracruz.org, you can see the maps, which are like the traditional
right,
tax maps.
right.
But you go down to parcel viewer,
Mm-hmm.
and if you have your parcel number for the county, you can go to that location and see. So you kind of have to go hand in hand, because I do that. Like I'll go into Courthouse Online, I will find my parcel, then I'll go over to parcel viewer and input the parcel number, and then I can see like this kind of a street view overshot and see parcels connected to each other. You kind of, we don't have those connected in any way, but you
Yeah,
can kind
it
of.
seems like it should be though. Yeah, who knows? It's the software, I suppose. I don't know.
It's kind of related to this. Eagle View or Pictometry International Corp. They are updating their Connect Explorer platform. It's going to a cloud-based platform, and it will give us more capabilities to integrate our GIS data into their offering. Right now, it's kind of limited. We can, but it's not great. But hopefully, with the update, then we'll be able to incorporate more of our GIS data that might make that more possible.
I guess it's just the various technologies catching up with each other, right?
Yeah, and it's imagery's big data, so a lot of storage space. So.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next two items, both are going to go to
Take the second one.
the first one, at least, E to Paul Schaefer, our highway manager. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. Requesting approval for the County Bridge 69 replacement at East Freedom Township of a supplement proposal of service contract between the County of Blair and Keller Engineer for the supplemental geotechnical sampling and testing and project management in the lump sum of $6,555. Keller is reaching out to Mountain Research LLC to do more soil and shale sampling at the County Bridge 69.
And County Bridge 69 is the bridge that is in East Freedom. Everyone's interested in when that's going to open. As soon as yesterday, we had a message asking when that bridge would open. And to remind everyone, that was the bridge that did fall. The one side of it fell in. It is currently closed. It would require over $100,000 worth of just minimal repair to even open it again. So we did put it on a fast track. We skipped the PennDOT process and put county money towards it again. Lindsay is going to speak to Corey about direct funding that through ARPA instead of the revenue replacement. It still would come out of ARPA, but just a different category tomorrow. I do have some updates on that, but either way, this is not going to slow down the bidding process. Hopefully that is still bid this fall and into winter. We did ask Melissa to zip this on the agenda a little later than the noon deadline because of that. We want to make sure that this bridge stays on time and is able to be bid over the winter so it can be fixed in the spring. And again, we do get a lot of calls. We get a lot of comments on that. I believe the commissioners even heard from the supervisors, but that bridge will remain closed until that bidding can happen. And again, due to we can't just open it. We do have to put about $100,000 to $150,000 of just minor work into it to even get it to a one-lane opening. And I like to say we're not going to throw good money at a bad bridge, and especially when it's going to be open within the year. So we again thank everyone for their patience out there. I know it's not a long detour, but it's got some red lights and some delays that people aren't used to, and unfortunately that's where we stand with that bridge on the timeline.
Or do they, because of the fact that they have to do the testing and the shale, I assume, for material they hope is not there, does that create a possible delay, the testing?
No, it shouldn't be a delay.
It's something that Mountain Research should be able to come in and do on a fairly quick basis then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, this whole project, Bridge 69, was not anticipated, let's put it that way. And when the side of the bridge fell in, we have really fast-tracked this. A typical bridge project takes about 5 years, and this one is only going to be 2 to 2.5 till it's finished. So it's pretty amazing, really.
Yes.
We will move that then on to first.
Okay, thank you.
And then Nicole, the parking garage stair tower project.
Yes, we I've tried to keep the commissioners up to date as much as I can on that project. We do have our contractor working even today, still installing stair towers. We were on a call this morning with the SOTI company for Ralph Albrano and Sons. He is still pledging that project should be wrapped up by the end of the week. And we know how long it's been. We just know how long it's been. It on our end, on their end, both it took time and delay. After the call with the CERTI, we had a couple minutes to talk to Brian Weiser, who indicated that we are now over double what he estimated his engineering hours to be on this project. Keller's does and tries to do a really good job of estimating how many hours they think a project should take and how many hours that, and they do a really good job of giving us a quote that or a proposal with those hours in it. This is double the original proposal. This what you have before you. I think close to. I think the original proposal was about 36,000. I'm sorry, I didn't get those numbers beforehand, but we're looking at an additional 45 hours on this project, which is about double of what they gave this estimate to begin with. I can tell you that when Brian slides a paper like this across the table, it's with a lot of regret. Keller doesn't want to have to charge the county over and above, but I can see through emails and correspondence with the contractor that they've earned this. They've definitely earned this money. It's definitely not something that we can ask Keller to absorb in any way. These are hours that Brian has spent reviewing. I think he said up to 7 times different shop drawings for this project, different submittals from the contractor, from their subs, from just different, and just the time delay it took for multiple months, additional work that they hadn't. And you remember this contract is in the liquidated damage stage. We did not choose to authorize their contract extension the last time they came and asked for that in late July, early August. So again, it's with a lot of regret that Keller engineers, but I told him, I said, Brian, this is business and you have to make sure that your costs are taken care of. So this is before you. This is a not to exceed. He is assuming 45 hours here. I don't know what he's up to now, but I would imagine that he's close to that. And the additional cost is estimated to be $27,311.19. So I welcome any questions at this time.
I would just say as a comment, again, this is not the fault of Keller engineers, nor the fault of the county. These additional expenses had to be incurred. So.
And I would hope that we would be able to recoup this, since it was not the fault of the county nor of the engineering department at Keller Engineers.
Any action on this today? No. We'll move that then on to Thursday's agenda as well. We've reached the end of our staff reports and special business. We have no old business. So we're going to adjourn the meeting at this time and thank everyone for their participation in it. Have a great day.